Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I'm glad that you could be here with us today, um, alongside Jan from the Save Money and More with Jan channel. Hey,
Hey,
Jan.
Steve. Hey, everybody.
So, what we're going to talk about today is the do's and don'ts of grocery shopping. And you have something important that you want to mention.
Actually, thank you, Steve, and thanks everybody for
Mm.
being here. Not only is it important, but to me, it is on the disturbing side. I was not happy about this. I ran a little research question this morning on this actual morning, which happens to be May 8th, 2025. And what I got in the response on the Google thing, I got this, and it's about the price of beef. Now, as if beef is not expensive enough, brace yourself, it's going to get even more expensive according to what I read. And it's important because not only is it important for our pocketbook and our knowledge, but it also has to do, if you think about it, we're talking about do's and don'ts of grocery shopping. So here's one do: be aware of the news and the circumstances surrounding things that may affect price. And I'm going to read to you basically what I wrote. It's not word for word from what I looked up, what I had written down, but it's the gist of it. Okay. So it's not an exact quotation. So this is what I gathered because I wanted to know, why is the price of beef, excuse me, why is the price of beef rising so much in May of 2025? And the answer, according to the recent Google research, there are specific reasons for beef going up. One, U.S. beef cattle inventory fell to the lowest level. Get a load of this, everybody, to the lowest level in 64 years. That means I was 2 years old, which was a long time ago, at the lowest level in 64 years. So the tight supplies and the big demands push cattle prices even higher this year, which is 2025, in case somebody's listening to this a year or two from now. Of course, everything is subject to change and hopefully it'll get better. Businesses may have to pass the high beef prices on to the consumer. Boy, surprise, surprise on that, right, Steve? That's a shocker.
Yeah.
Businesses, right? Businesses may have to pass the high beef prices on to the consumer. And according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, inflation data measured the consumer price index for beef and veal were up about 2.4%, like month over the month, and within the month of February, and the year overall about 7.6 year to year. These numbers, in my opinion, and in my pocketbook, and yours too, are staggering. You know, Steve, the good news about us being frugal people, our invisible magic toolbox, the invisible toolbox that I call for frugal people, we have our own invisible box. We pull out all the things we know best to do. Okay, if we know the prices of beef are really, really high and projected to go a little higher because of the availability and, supply and demand, we know the drill, how that works, et cetera, et cetera. We have to be that much more diligent in our planning, in our stockpiling, in what we choose. Even the time of day going to the grocery store can affect prices. Not being too ashamed to tap the manager for any manager special. Have good communications. And I know, Steve, you have some really wonderful ideas about some of the do's and don'ts when grocery shopping. Considering the prices of the beef going up, we can use all the help that you could give with those tips. Thank you so much. I hope that what we're talking about helps at least one person. So I know you have some great tips for us.
I do. And I've got a few bullet points actually to go along with it as I go along. So, one of the things I do this all the time whenever I go shopping, and this right here is important to do. Try to stick to your grocery budget. In other words, when you figure out before you even leave, if you have an idea of what things cost, on some websites for grocery stores, you can go online and it'll give you a price of everything. So you could actually get your cell phone and go to your calculator section and start adding up what you need. And then you say, okay, I'm only going to go to the store. I'm not spending any more than $75. 75 is my cutoff. Okay,
Mhm.
well, take what you feel that you're going to need to buy, add it up, the second, the third, the fourth, and down the list. And when you get right around 75, even if you go 76 or 75.50, that's okay. A dollar or two is not going to matter, but try to stay well within, you know, a budget of what you're trying to spend. As long as I would say as long as it's within $5 under or over, I would say you're okay. But always have a grocery budget to go by. I think it's important. And second, this one is really good. I like this one a lot. The second one, only buy food that your family will actually eat. Don't go out on a whim and buy something thinking, oh, such and such might like that. I think this person may like that. Um, don't do that. You might have a liking for it, but it's not necessarily you, it's them. So try to buy things that you've bought on a regular basis that your family members have come to know, like, and love, and stick with that. Because you don't want to buy something and then it gets opened and they try it and it just sits in the cupboard or whatever and it goes bad. Then you wind up throwing it away. What good is that? It's better to go ahead and buy the one that everybody actually likes rather than one that you haven't bought. So always um, keep that in mind whenever you go and grocery shop. A third one, this one, not everybody takes advantage of these a whole lot anymore. I still like them because they can be beneficial to me. Number three, take advantage of rain checks when necessary because there are times you may go in the store that you want to buy something, it's on sale. It'd be the one of the best sales on an item that you ever ran across, but they're sold out. Okay, n- there's nothing wrong. Just go to the customer service desk and say, hey, on this item right here, you're sold out. Is there any way that you could give me a rain check? 9 times out of 10, they'll go ahead and give you the rain check. The rain check is usually good for about a month. So you'll be able to come back and purchase the item when it, comes in stock. Or I have done this. If you have another grocery store that's not too far from you that you could go to, you could always go to that store and see if they have it in stock. Watch where I'm going with this. If they have it in stock, you don't have to use the rain check. Hold on to it. So you'll just purchase the item outright. But 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, before that rain check runs out, your usual regular store that you shop at, if they get it back in stock, you can use the rain check. So you're actually making out on that product twice. Once from
Wow.
a different grocery store, same item, and then using the rain check when they get it back in stock.
Holy smokes.
I do that.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, I do that. I've done that. In fact, I did that with the last thing I did that with was with some Muller's vermicelli pasta. Um, for some reason, this particular sale, it was a BOGO. This particular sale, they sold out. And they were out of it for over 2 weeks, but it straightened out. I have another tip. The fourth one I have is avoid spending waste, which means, I guess, don't go out, buy something that you'll buy, bring it in. let it sit, and then it does go to waste, then you can't use it.
Hmm. Good
And
one.
one of the big things about that could go to waste pretty easy, and I'm very, very particular about it, is produce. If you a head of lettuce, some type of greens, to give a couple of examples, because what happens if you don't use it? It'll start wilting and it'll go bad. So
Sure.
that's one example. I'm sure there's several others, but you don't want to go out and spend money to where you can create waste. That I don't see where that I don't see where that makes any logical sense. And I really don't even know who would do that, but yeah.
Great ideas, I have to say.
And then my fifth one, my last one that I have here, you always check to see what's on sale. So look and see what's on sale. Look at your weekly ad. It can be on your phone, it can be that physical paper, whichever you choose to look at. And if something is on sale, always, take advantage of buying the product. And I have another tip to go along with this. Let me see if I can find it. Well, hold on. I don't see it here right off. Well, yes, I do. Never mind the number of the bullet point. It is out of sequence, but that doesn't really matter. But the other tip is this. Look for buy one, get one free deals. And one of my stores like Publix, Winn-Dixie is good about that. And if a coupon is presented, you save even more, and sometimes you may get it free. So always look and see if you're able to use a coupon. Coupons do help. Look at your BOGO. Sometimes it's a plus minus, and then you make out. I've done it on a few things in the past. I've actually been able to walk away from a BOGO and having a coupon and it not cost me anything. So
Oh, wow.
always, yeah, so always take a look. If not costing you anything, it really lowers the amount in which you pay for something. And
That's great.
that are my bullet point
Mhm.
tips.
That's wonderful, Steve. I loved all of them. I loved what happened with the rain check situation. I remembered when it actually happened to you in real time when you had told me about it a while back. And yeah, rain checks, that was a word terminology that was used so oftentimes when I was a child, and it never quite 100% went away. You're right. People need to check into that, et cetera,
Mm,
et cetera. Any way people could find a way to save a buck here and a buck there. We go over this all the time that it always adds up. Don't dismiss the small wins. Don't dismiss the small savings. It all adds up in your budget. If you could
yeah,
have more money than month, yay. And this is one of the ways to do it. Very, very nice. So, anyway, Steve, thanks for having me here.
you're welcome. And, you know, al always be on the lookout for I or us. And I need to make something clear. I was going to leave it in my community tab, but I might as well verbally go ahead and say it. I'm still in the transition process of getting everything put together here. No, I have not stopped doing on-camera videos. That will return. That will return. Don't think that I have all of a sudden decide to switch to audio format. That's not true. I will be returning with on-camera videos again. Just, you know, just be patient with me and it will happen because I do like being on camera. There are times that I would like to be on camera, and I have my times that I would much rather just do an audio. Um, but just be patient with me. That's what's going on. That's the reason why you've been seeing more audio videos out of me than you have on camera. So everything is still in slow transition. Yes, it probably should have happened a little sooner already than what it has, but I also go by an old saying, slow and steady wins the race. So that
There you go.
is to let you guys know what's going on with me in that respect. Um, anyway, hope everybody has a great whatever time of day it is for you. And I or we will see you back here next time. Bye.
Bye bye.